cheat code.
Welcome to Pickleball Cheat Code, the show for competitive pickleball players who want to level up their game. We focus on advanced strategies for experienced players, stuff only the pros know. I'm Brody Smith. I'm a 5.5 level player, and I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Tanner Tomasi.
Hey, everyone.
Tanner is a 6.0 duper and an APP national medalist. Today, we are covering everything you need to know in order to have a successful tournament day, in order to execute a great tournament. At the end of the episode, we will be ranking the best ways to cool off from a long tournament day. So stick around. You don't want to miss that. Carbon is also offering a discount code to Pickleball Cheat Code listeners, so be on the lookout for that. All right, Tanner, on episode 7, as you, of course, remember, we discussed pre-tournament strategy, but today we're diving into the actual tournament day itself. We're on tournament day. We're in our matches. We're in our grind. We're here to talk about what will make players successful, myself, you, what we do to exceed our expectations going into that stressful yet exciting day. You know, the truth is it's a grind out there. When you're playing in a tournament, it's easy to fall apart, but you also might have the best day in the world out there. So my question for you, Tanner, is when it's coming to tournament day, what percent of that day for you is mental versus what percent is physical? Maybe not necessarily just for yourself, but for what you see for players across the board.
I would say obviously you need to be physically prepared, but assuming you have the same skill set as everybody, you're ready to go.
Yeah, you're coming in even level with everyone that you go to the tournament with.
The main separator is definitely the mental side.
Yeah.
I think there was like a quote by Djokovic in tennis where he was like, I've won 80% of my matches, or some crazy statistic, or maybe even more, I don't know. But he only won 54% of points. So that just shows that he like is neck and neck skill-wise, but he's able to mentally reset and just not get thrown off if he makes a mistake. And I think that in pickleball, like it's not like that super legitimate of a pro sport yet because it's so new. So it's like, it's not elite athletes yet, where tennis is elite athletes. So this guy has mental training, this and that. Where pickleball, the people are like, they might get distraught more easily, like if the ball hits the net. I think half of it is just worrying about yourself, not worrying about the wind, not worrying about the people watching, not if it hits the net. It's like if you worry about you and your game, you're going to have a leg up on everybody because not many people can do that. They get flustered. Oh, something's going wrong.
Making excuses and blaming other people. No, I hear you. And by the way, that's Federer. We talked about that in
Federer.
It's Federer. It's Federer, the GOAT. Well, we don't even need to get into that debate. I think Novak, but that's its own story. Anyway, but yeah, there's so much that comes into that mindset on a tournament. And whether you're playing the biggest pro match in the world, or you're playing in a 2-5 local tournament in somebody's backyard, I see people get just as stressed. Some people get more antsy and more worked up at those small local tournaments than Ben Johns might at the biggest stage, or you might when you're playing in your big match in center court at APP. So it's really interesting because pickleball is so fun for people. You get really excited. And I think I mentioned this as well, is that the same level of thinking and the same brain patterns of excitement are the exact same as anxiety. So when you get really jacked up and really pumped, it can make you stressed subconsciously and make you, playing a little high adrenaline and off your game. You don't want to get your adrenaline too high. It's an exciting day. We all love it. That's why we do it. It's what we train for. But you got to find a way to stay chill out there and be calm.
I got a great quote on this topic. Ooh. You'll like it. I saw it like 2 days ago. I wrote it down. Are you ready to hear it?
I'm ready to hear it.
How excited are you to hear it?
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm about a 10 right now.
Okay, here it is. Okay, get this. You tell me what you think. Here's the quote. I will beat him. I will train harder. I will eat cleaner. I know his strengths. I lost to him before, but not this time. He's going down. I have the advantage because I know him so well. He is the old me.
Is this a pickleball player?
No, it's just a quote in general. Do you understand it or no?
Yeah. I mean, I get the quote. Quote.
Explain it.
Well, it's like it's just saying like they're out of the game and you're the rising star, right? Like
no.
What do you mean?
You're beating the
they're
ending
the old
line.
maid.
No. The ending line is crucial. He is the old me, meaning it's just you against you. You know, you just have to beat yourself. See, you missed the whole. You have it now?
I get it now. You're competing against yourself.
Right, exactly.
Thank you. This was a
I'm
tennis
my own
player,
worst
wasn't it?
enemy. I know when it's tight 10-10 in the third, I'm going to speed up off the bounce and blow the game. Now I'm not going to do that.
I'm so glad you called me out for me not understanding the quote. I appreciate that.
It was good. I can tell when people get it.
It's a tennis player, isn't it?
No, I don't know. It said unknown where I saw it.
You keep giving quotes and we're not quoting the right people here. Come on.
I'll take the credit. It's fine.
All right. Well, yeah, I honestly feel like that is the cheat code of the episode right there. Is competing against yourself is what this, if you want to boil anything that we'll talk about the rest of this episode or what we already talked about, I feel like that's what it does boil down to, in my opinion, is your own worst enemy is you. You're the only one that's going to get in your way. I mean, people will blame their partner left and right, or blame the wind, or, blame net cords and whatever it might be. But it's just you against you out there. Right. Singles or doubles. No, I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. And that's something that I feel like needs to be mentioned as well, is to have a good tournament day, going back to that, and have a successful tournament day, is you have to have good vibes. You have to have good energy. If you're going to be out there with your partner and you're not going to have good energy, or between matches, you're going to talk to somebody else saying that your partner's not playing that good, or at the end of the tournament, you're talking shit about them, saying like, yeah, they were, you can say maybe they weren't playing their best, but like if you're saying the only reason why you lost is because of them, that's going to come back to you. That's going to come back to other people. The pickleball community is a small bubble. If that's the person that you're going to be out there, it's going to make it worse for you for future tournament days. If you're doing that during a tournament, it's going to come back to you, and that energy is just not going to pay off. So take ownership. Listen to that quote that Tanner just dropped, the cheat code of the year. That's the mindset to have. You need to be positive on the court. We don't need to be fake positive, but I mean, it's better than nothing. I mean, honestly. So as long as we're having good energy and your partner can rely on you, maybe they just made 10 dinks into the net. That's okay. Does it suck? Are you going to be a little upset? Maybe, but you need to have their back and just be like, you know what? Next play. Because if I'm in a slump, I want my partner to do the exact same thing for me. And I want to know that no matter if I'm playing really bad, that they can still trust me to come out there when we're down 10-2, and he'll believe in me to win those next points and rally and win it.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
I'm getting emotional. That was a lot. Right there. Okay, so let's go into your mindset of a tournament day. I know we talked a lot about, like we just said, being good vibes, having good energy. You're only competing against yourself out there. But what does your mindset look like for you on a tournament day? What are some things that you're thinking about, some things that you fall back on to make sure that you're staying even keel and you're being consistent out there?
So the old me, which I don't know if this is good or not, but this is what I'm doing now. Like, I was putting so much, and this actually happened in the Cayman Islands. I'll give you the whole rundown. So the old me, I would say, was getting hype after every point, screaming, yelling, woo, like it's the end of the world. But that puts too much emphasis on each point. Yeah. And then it just builds up so much pressure. Where now the new me, I am, I'd say I'm more quiet now and not celebrating as much in between each point, whatever. Only if it's a big moment or whatever, or towards the end of the game. And the reason is here's the example. So when I was in the Cayman Islands, I was playing alongside, it was like a team event. So it was 4 people on our team. And one of our people was, it's like MLP style. So you can coach in the middle of the points. It's a cool environment.
Things are getting rowdy.
Yeah. So one of our guys is about to hit a return a serve on our team. And he's looking over at me and the other person on the bench and is like, where should I return to? Where should I return? Right before the guy's about to serve it. And the issue is when you have all that thinking and talking in general going on in between points, even with your partner or with somebody on the sideline, this is an extreme case, but with your partner, it takes you out of the flow state. You need to just stay and just let it all happen. By you asking, it just takes you out of everything. Come on, we got to win this one. We got to win this. No, just let it go and let it be. You have to stay in the flow.
Because I mean, it falls back on to practice makes perfect, and what you work on is what you preach, or what you practice, what you preach. So everything that you're doing in rec and everything that you're doing when you're drilling, that needs to be applied for a tournament. Because like you said, if you're having that mindset, maybe if you're in practicing and you're always asking somebody what to do for a certain shot and where to return it, sure, do that in a tournament, but you're not doing that when you're practicing. You're not doing that when you're playing rec games. So having that same rec game energy for that is kind of how things need to translate, I feel like.
Yeah, the classic that is very ineffective is like you lose like 2 or 3 points in a row, and then you say to your partner, like, all right, come on, let's go. Like that does not do anything.
That drives me nuts.
That doesn't get anybody like excited.
On me. No, it doesn't get anybody excited. I need to be in my own mindset. I need to let myself lock in, give me some positive vibes, but what you just said that's one of my biggest pet peeves on the courts.
Yeah.
For sure.
Or the classic that I see with like, especially older players at like these national tournaments and probably local ones as well. I just haven't been to a local one. I'd say in like a little bit, is the older players, I'd say like 50 plus, if you're 50 plus listening, don't do this, is the older players tend to cheat like hardcore more than like anybody. Like hardcore. Like if the ball's close, they just call it out because they're so uncomfortable with their game. They need to take everything that they can get to win. Like you don't want to be that guy, you know?
Yeah. I have seen some more hooking going on in the senior community than I have in other communities. No disrespect to the senior community who've paved the way to OG pickleball. And there's so many amazing players out there that are just killing it. But I have seen more hooking in that environment myself too. I have noticed that.
And I'd say like low level, like 3-0, 3-5.
Exactly.
Not
at
the pros.
Yeah. Exactly. No, I've seen
not
that
5-0, whatever, 4-5. Just like low.
Yeah. No, I've seen the same thing out there, and it cracks me up, especially when I'm doing coaching and stuff, and we'll get into some rec games, and I'll see that out there for sure. That's a good point. So another thing that we were talking about earlier is controlling like your intensities. So, when people get really jacked up, and everybody's going to be different. Some people get crazy intense every point, and some people never say a word, right? So at the end of the day, it's all going to come down to what fits your personality and like who you are. But in general, there still needs to be an element of controlled intensity. So if you're shitting the bed, or if you're having the best day of your entire life and hitting crazy shots, you need to make sure that you're not riding the high highs too high,
right?
And you're not slumping too hard on the lows. That can just take you out of your element. Maybe you're getting crazy jacked up and you had just this crazy game one, and then things may not go your way game two, right? So then it's going to kind of throw you off. You were just yelling and screaming all match, and then getting the next game, things aren't going your way, and you might just be like a little frazzled, and you're not staying in that same flow state. It's going to take you out of that flow state. So making sure that you're staying in line there and just being balanced throughout the day, I think is very, 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 very important.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. I'd say like this is like the stereotype is the people that get really hyped have really high like dips and valleys. So they'll have really high highs, but they also have really low lows when things aren't going their way. And then that'll bring down their partner and their own gameplay. Where if you look at somebody like Ben Johns, where he's very like just even keeled throughout
all day long.
If you can just minimize the dips and valleys, that's how you're going to do good, which is why I'm like, all right, if I'm quiet, like if I'm, I'm going to stay more flatlined as opposed to dip.
And you can get a little bummed down, a little more quiet every once in a while. And then there's going to be times where you're going to get jacked up and, hooting and hollering. What are some things you're shouting, by the way? Are you shouting Andiamo? Are you shouting C? Let's go. What's your go-to? What are you screaming?
I'll give you my go-to. I haven't busted it out in a tournament yet. I got to bust it out.
Not once?
But in practice, we got this guy, that we play with. I played with him in the last tournament. His name's Mark Danquart.
Okay.
He's good. He's very good. But we call it the Marky Bark. Okay. What he does is his celebration, and I've adopted it. I haven't busted it out though, just rec play. His celebration is like an umpire, like in in baseball. Like when he gets it, he goes, like he just gets hyped like that. I love it. The Marky Bark is the play.
That's not even a bark. It's like that's terrifying. That's
it's just like it's good. It's like it's good.
If I don't hear you do that next tournament, I'm going to be upset.
I got to bust it out. Definitely.
That's going to get in somebody's head. If you do that.
The Marky Bark. And then you got to tell
Bark.
And then a step above that, which we brought into action actually today, is the delayed Marky Bark. So after a great hands battle, you're walking out to the baseline, they're about to serve, and you're just like, just let them know right beforehand.
Oh God, that's good. See, it's the delays, it's the weird stuff that gets people thrown off. So when you're going to throw something like that, that's a good curveball right there. I also like to celebrate when I'm playing rec. only if I get net cords, if I get body bags, if I get the worst things to happen to them and I just get pure luck, that's the only time I'll celebrate because it just drives people nuts.
Oh, just for fun.
Just for fun. Just for fun.
Right.
In a tournament, of course not. I might think about doing it. But yeah, it's fun to mess with your buddies.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, let's talk about, so we talked a lot about the mental side, barking, getting intense, staying calm, whatever it might be. But let's talk about strategy going into a tournament and how to set the tone versus how to be consistent. That's a balance that people try to, a fine line that people like to walk. At the end of the day, we always want to be focusing on what you're best at, what fits your game the most, and, working on your strengths and avoiding your weaknesses as much as possible. But in a tournament, it's game one. You get out there, you got some jitters going, you're pumped. Are you looking to come in hot and hit a lot of drives, hit a lot of speed ups, or would you rather lean more towards hitting safer shots, calmer dinks, thirds, and applying pressure that way with consistency? For me, I don't know why I always like to start with consistency because it helps me get into a flow state. So I'll speed up way less, whether it's the right answer or not. I know it's good to be a force early on, but I don't know why. I always just lean towards that calmer game to start, like calmer than I normally do, just because it puts me in a flow state a little bit easier.
Yeah, I wouldn't change anything. I do the exact same thing. I think it depends on your play style and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I rather just get into rhythm, make a lot of shots because they're probably going to be nervous, just as nervous as you. So I want to just make sure I'm good for the whole match and just make a lot of balls and see if they're nervous or they miss or they do a dumb speed up.
Because I do see some people, though, and it works well, where they'll come at me with speed ups, drives, shake and bakes. Like they'll shake and bake the very first 5 points. And it's like, holy shit, they come out there and then you get more nervous and then you get more pressure on you. So I feel like there's good game plans that people have and good strategies. So I feel like it's important to cover that. And, there's a lot of different ways to go about it, as I guess is what I'm saying.
Definitely.
Do you try any of that at all? Do you come out like shake and bake heavy? Do you have like strategies that you'll shift to in the middle of a match, call timeout, be like, hey, let's go full shake and bake here, or let's go plan C, let's go dinks only? Are there things that you adjust to based off how the match is going?
Yeah, definitely. Like you start out with a base strategy and then you adjust as the game develops. It just depends on the opponent. If somebody has a bad forehand, dink, whatever, then you might want to target there more. But it's important that you don't have any ultimatums. A lot of people will be like, yeah, we are only hitting to his backhand, and then that generally doesn't work because then they can get into rhythm unless they're like a very low level, whatever, and they just miss every shot. But normally maybe 2 balls there and then 1 somewhere else and then 1 ball there. And just like that's like the hot spot that you want to target, but not just every shot.
Yeah. So then how do you balance that? Let's say you find a weak spot in a player's game. So it's just every once in a while, you're just going to sprinkle it in there. We're going to put like 75% of the pressure. Cause sometimes too, I'll kind of go full ultimatum and be like backhand every single shot we're hitting it, no matter what. And it can go both ways. Like you said, they can get in a rhythm and then they can rebuild their confidence with that too, which is not what you want.
The approach that I take is you want to say somebody has a bad backhand. Say okay, we're going to target his backhand. So then you hit 2-3 shots to his backhand, whatever. And then you want to stay with that. Sure. You want to kind of veer off of it when you see the other player trying to compensate. So if I hit 3 shots to the guy's backhand, and then the other player starts creeping towards the middle to try to get himself involved, because the obvious game plan coming out of our timeout was hit every ball to this guy. Then when that guy creeps over to the middle, that's a prime time to veer off from the game plan and go behind the other guy because he's out of position. And then he's out of position, hit it to him, and then you go back to that. And then that's how it kind of opens up.
Yeah, kind of more pattern building, so to speak.
Right.
Love it. Okay, let's talk about managing momentum during a tournament and during matches, because that's really key. And I've seen some players talking about going really quick, really fast pace when things are going well, picking up a ball, serving right away, managing that momentum, quick paddle taps straight into the next point, put the opponents on their heels. And then you have players that do the opposite of when things aren't going your way, is slowing everything down. A ball lands on somebody's foot and it starts rolling on the other court. Wait for it to come back, slowly walk over to it, take time to your advantage. It's like taking a knee in football like icing the kicker in football and making sure that you're using time to your advantage and getting that pressure and momentum to shift back, because there's a lot of way momentum can change in a match. Maybe it's just you hit one good shot, you get really excited. Maybe they get tired and it's just time. It's simple as that. So what are some ways that you're managing momentum as you play and as you go through a match in the tournament?
I think you hit the nail on the head. If you lose 2-3 points quick, make sure you go to the towel. Just take a lot of time in between. Don't just like throw the ball back and get ready for the next point. Just slow it down. Basically, like if you're playing good, this is the way I like to play. If I'm playing good, I want to play like fast in between points.
Exactly.
If I'm playing bad, I want to play slow.
Keep it going.
Yeah.
Do you have a cheat code for timeout usage? I'm that guy that like never calls a timeout. I only let my partners call timeout. I feel like my ego gets in the way, is where if I call a timeout, I feel like I'm giving them a little win. But at the same time, I need to use it more because it helps with momentum management, obviously. And coming out of a timeout, people will make mistakes all the time. So I don't know if there's like a tactic that you kind of follow. Like you said, 2 or 3 points. Is that what you do? Simple as that? 2
or 3 points. I don't think there's much to it. You just have to be disciplined about it. You could call an offensive timeout if it's like a close game. There's a couple side outs back and forth. Then it's a good time to call a timeout. But other than that, just 2 to 3 points. Just you don't want to let the game get away because it can go fast.
Yeah, makes sense. And to wrap up that point too is like for momentum as well is making sure that you have good breath control and you're staying really calm as well. So riding the high highs, low lows, like we mentioned, making sure you're breathing through these points and you're taking your time. That keeps you in that flow state. So taking calm breaths, being mindful of where you are, what the score is, and tracking all of that is super key. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that too.
Yeah, no, that's it.
And then just to kind of do a little wrap up as well is, based off some of the different strategies and managing that momentum, pressure, all of that is some things that separate top players versus people that are new to tournament play. What are some of the key things that you see top players doing more than somebody that's like their first tournament? What are some key indicators that they're an experienced player in your eyes?
I think the experienced player is better at probably like just not getting flustered with the moment. Like if it's 8-8, they're not going to miss a dink. Somebody new is definitely going to miss a dink.
What does that come down to? Is that just coming down from, is that more from drilling more, or is that from tournament experience, do you think?
Tournament experience. It just means you're not in the flow state. If you miss a dink, you're in your head. If you consciously find yourself in your head thinking during a game, you are going to miss the shot.
That's a good point.
If the ball's coming to me, like I found this, like for me in singles, somebody's about to serve it and I'm like, I'm like, don't go to my backhand. Don't go to my backhand. Like you're going to just lose. You have to just turn your brain off, let your body react and you will win. Yeah. You have to just shut it off. That's a skill that I feel like is learned and I'm getting better and better at it with like the past tournaments. And it's like unlocking a whole new world. If you have dialogue in your head, you're screwed. You want to have no dialogue.
That's a good point. So let's say I think that takes the spot for the number one cheat code of the day. So I love that, Tanner. That's a really, 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 really good point. So let's say you catch yourself, you're not in that flow state. You realize that, and that's okay, right? That can happen to anybody. You can catch yourself having that dialogue in your head. What are some things you do to try to lock back into that flow state in the middle of a match? If there is something that you do, maybe it's just a matter of, hitting shots that are comfortable to you. Like, is there anything that you do physically to help you with your physiology and your mind?
I would say nothing like physical based. What I would do is I would just like focusly like be aware, first of all, be aware of it and then try to like
that's the key. Number one is awareness. Agreed.
And then it's just you get out of the flow state by talking. I truly think, I don't know if this is true or not. This is just from my experience. Like I'm just like not saying anything, eyes laser focused and just letting the moment happen as opposed to like trying to create the moment. Just like let it happen. Whatever goes.
You said talking gets you out of it?
Say it again.
You said talking gets you out of it?
I think it gets you out of it. In between points with your partner, this, that. Obviously, you can say like, good job, this, that. But if it's like, all right, well, let's go to the backhand. It's too much. Yeah. Call a timeout for that. You're going to lose.
If I feel like my partner and I are a little bit out of the flow state, I talk more and I crack jokes. I don't know why. I try to use comedy to my advantage, and it helps get us back into the groove. Sometimes I don't know. I love it. So, yeah, I think over talking and over strategizing absolutely will get you out of the flow state. So like saying like hit here, do that, do this, watch out for that little thing. That's what's going to make your partner also overthink and then add their own dialogue. So don't do that to your partner. Key advice. And that's why I say things that are almost distracting. Like I'll make jokes about somebody that's walking by, or I'll make a joke about the shot that they just hit, or just glaze them for the most amazing shot that they just hit over and over. So little things like that to kind of keep them in that flow state. And also helps me too, because that's what I do when I play rec. I goof off. I talk shit for fun, not in a serious way. I'm a goober, so I like to be a goober in tournaments too. I give compliments to the other team. Things like that just help me stay in that flow state. So yeah, that's huge. Yeah. Okay, between matches. Let's say you got, sometimes you don't even know. You have 15 minutes before your next match, 1 minute, 3 hours. We don't know what's going on. These tournaments are all over the place. What are you doing between your first match, your second match, your going into maybe your gold medal match? What are you doing in between matches to stay locked in and to stay calm?
Mainly just, I don't know. I don't do this, but I guess maybe you could like listen to music or something.
Yeah.
Like if some people like that, but I really just sit there, hydrate, and just make sure I'm like, I get my heart rate down and my body's like physically ready. Because if my heart rate's like going fast, like I'm going to make errors. I need everything to just be like slow. Also, another thing that's great if you're struggling with anxiety or pressure is I'll take myself out of it, or like say to my partner, like the pressure comes from you like hyping it up in your head. You've played a million games. You've hit a million like third shot drops. Like it's not that difficult. You're just putting pressure on the moment, which makes it hard. But if you're like, okay, like we're just here, just going to hit this. Like it's rec play. It's nothing special. Like nothing really matters. Another key thing, sorry, a little off topic.
No, I like it. Let's go.
Sometimes I see like two opponents on the other side of the net, and like I'll say to I won't say to my partner, but I'll think this. I'm like, I wouldn't even want to like play rec with these people. You know what I mean? Just like if the level's low, and I'm like, now we're in a tournament and it's like 9-9, and that like kind of hones me in of like, okay, like I know I'm better. I know I should be winning. So.
Which can also be an adverse effect too, because I've done the same thing. I'm like, I'm so much better than these people. Why am I losing right now? Why am I down 7-9? Right. And then I'll kind of get more in my own head. So I'll have the inverse effect from that too. So I gotta be careful of that. I'll have the ego hit where I'm like, why am I like, I know I'm better than this player.
Right.
And then it like stresses me out. Then it's like, wait, then how the hell am I losing?
Right.
My gooper is going to drop. I shouldn't have signed up for this tournament. And then I'm panicking, Tanner.
Right.
I don't know. That's just me. But yeah. Okay.
It goes both ways, probably.
It goes both ways is all I wanted to say. Yes. Okay. To break it down, let's wrap up the episode with the best way to cool off from a long tournament day. Maybe you got gold. Maybe you got bounced first round. Hopefully you had a fun time. Maybe you had an awful time and you played terribly. Regardless, this isn't a blind ranking, but we're going to be going through 5 that I listed out. So it's not blind like we did previously. You can re-rank accordingly. Maybe you want to shift number 1 to number 2, 5 to 3. You get the idea, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to go through 5, and then you can rank in whatever order you like. So this gives you the benefit of the doubt, unlike that blind ranking, which we've done previously. And if you're watching on YouTube or on video Spotify, obviously you'll be able to see a little ticker here at the bottom showing the rankings. So if you're listening, make sure to watch on video next time. Fun to be able to see that. All right. Best way to cool off from a long tournament day. Number 1, you're out of the tournament or the tournament's over. Watching your friends play.
I'd go number 3 at that. I think depending on your involvement in the tournament, how much you care. If you're like a 4-0, you might not really care. If it's me where I'm playing all the tournaments, I care. I think
everyone
3
cares.
is good.
If you're competing at a 2-0, everyone cares, Tanner.
Yeah, they want to watch their friends. I'm going to say 3.
Okay. I love watching the boys after at least if I have a good day. I'm watching the buddies after, watching the homies. All right, next one. Taking a shower and having a nap.
Ooh. I'll probably put that at 5. I don't do that often. If I lose, like that's not on my
You don't take showers often?
Say it again?
You don't take showers often?
No, that too, no.
You're not a nap guy?
No, after a tournament, on my mind, it's not like, man, I can't wait to take a nap.
It's not that I can't wait to take a nap. Personally, I'm a big napper after a tournament. I love to reset the day because a lot of times they're starting early. I'm getting up at like 6 a.m., so I'm exhausted.
True. Just for me, it's not that important.
Fair. All right. Straight to get food, whether it's like In-N-Out, Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, something fast casual, and then you get home after, or whatever works best.
I'd say that's number 1. I like I feel like if you do well in a tournament, like you earn it. It feels good to eat it. You've burned a ton of calories. Long day.
It hits so hard. In and out after a tournament is my go-to every time if I'm in SoCal. So I miss it a lot. Being in the Northeast right now. Shout out to In and Out. I love you.
Right.
Number 4, getting some drinks, maybe having a beer with the homies. I don't know if you're a beer guy, but that's big on my list.
I don't drink, not that I'm against or anything, but I would say that's a good social setting, especially if you're with all your friends. So I would say 2, that's probably up there.
Clutch. Okay. Last one. People go different, both either way with this, more so one way than anything, but drilling or getting in more games.
Oh, -10. That's probably like the least thing I want to do. So what do I have last? 4.
That was the last one.
4.
That was the last one.
I'll put that at number 4 for now, but I want to switch it to 5. The nap overtakes that because it's just
smart. I think we got your 5.
Not a good vibe. I feel like if you lose and you're at the tournament practicing, at least for me, I'm doing this off like my list.
Makes sense. Yeah, of course. This is your ranking, Tanner. This is what you want. I mean, exactly. I like to get some games in sometimes. If I feel like I didn't get a long tournament day in, I only played a couple matches and I got my butt kicked. If I see some friends out of state, it's fun to get a little rec game in there with them, hit a new paddle, hang out. But yeah, nothing serious. I'm definitely not drilling after a tournament.
No.
0 shot.
Yes.
0 shot. All right. That's it. You crushed that ranking. You hit you just knocked that out. That was beautiful. Okay.
Go.
Good chat, my man. Till next time. Enjoy your travels. You're traveling more and more, so you keep it up, and I'm proud of you.
All right. See ya.
Bye, Tan.